Turn this on. Hi. Helps if you lift the camera cap. Oh, well, I don't know about you, but I have been feeling in a different space with the energies today, but I've been kind of getting information about the twin energies and what's going on for the divine counterpart for a little while. And oh, thanks, Anna. I just got your message. Yeah, so there is, well, let's see. First of all, the energies of this month, the idea that things are very much shifting, there's this capping off of the old and this coming up of the new. You could, if you watch my October energy forecast, it's the notion that it does feel like we are in the middle of the movie and someone's pushed the pause button, or as though we are mid-stride moving from one platform to another or from one dimension to another. And so we know that we have left one and that we haven't yet landed on the other. And so that can provide quite a lot of uncertainty, really, because it is as though there is no ground beneath our feet. And so this is the feeling of being in the world at the moment, because our old world is transitioning out. It's not necessarily doing it in one great big whoosh, but it is doing it bit by bit, incrementally, one kind of component at a time. Although I must say that's not my perception of what's going on for the divine masculine at the moment. However, that is likely to be how many people are feeling in their world. We are very much in this position where things are, and things can be a pretty broad spectrum. So a lot of people are going to have experiences of change as though it's landed in their lap and they didn't see it coming. These surprising arisals, if you like, arisals, is there such a word? Arrivals of the surprise. All of a sudden, your job will disappear. And I'm not saying this to frighten you, because it's all orchestrated. So it might be that, suddenly things close down and what you expected to do, you're unable to, but there will be something new that comes. So first of all, the first 2 weeks of October are very, I would say, don't make any kind of major decisions during this time. It's very transitory. There's lots of movement going on. It's a time to really kind of sit in yourself and dive deeply into self and be very present with each moment. So that would be my general advice about what we're experiencing at the moment. But I've been using this kind of cave analogy with the divine masculine. And so right now, I want to tell you that what the divine masculine is doing is they are standing in front of their cave. They've got this kind of long vision. They've got a big smile on their face, and they can see a light in the distance or a flickering fire, and that's you. And they know that that's where they have to go, and they know that they are going. And what they have to do is, it's almost like they are in the strategic planning, but they're not in the planning of doing. They're not in the planning part of the plan. They're in the doing part of the plan. This is very practical, showing up in real life time. Hello, Alive Thrive. I'm feeling him navigating his way. Exactly. So how I see it, how it shows up for me, is as though, firstly, when I tuned into it, maybe where are we up to? It's the 8th here. Maybe 4, 5, 6 days ago, I really got this knowing that they were, and I actually cried when I felt into it because it's just so beautiful. Hello, Larissa. Welcome. It's as though, see, I start to feel like this in it. It's as though they have made a plan, but they have had to and willingly done so to consider every component and every person in a separate and individual way. So every person in their life, every aspect in their life, there is going to be impacted upon with this movement, and they have thought about it. They have deeply considered what needs to happen, and they are doing it to such a level of integrity. You can only feel this great sense of pride almost, but amazement really, because I want to say it's because they are in the knowing that this is eternal, that they know that this connection, it's not a timing issue for them. Sorry. I know we would love for it to be, we know they're going to come in this time, but it's a very, very much this is what needs to happen for me to get there. And this is what I must do for this person. And this is how I need to attend to the aspects and elements of life for this person in this situation. And so they have already planned what that looks like and how they have to do that, and they are now in the doing or the undoing or the attending to. And it is as though they're standing there and they've got their checklist. I need to attend to this for this person, and tick. I need to attend to this about my work, and tick. They're moving through all of the elements of their life, all of the relationships that exist in their current life. They are attending to those, and they're doing it so beautifully and with such integrity that when I felt into that, I felt very, very moved. Let's see. I'll put my glasses on. So they are really breaking out. You could see it like that. They're really breaking out of all of the old, which is what we're all doing this month, but they're really in the doing of that right now. They have felt, recognized, and acknowledged this huge energy shift. It's as though, for some of them anyway, they've had like a dawning. It's an awakening, but it's a self-realization. That was how it showed up to me. The self-realization of awakening, of that there is greater purpose for them, and really attuning to their individual mission through their higher heart. And it's like they're going to wipe the slate clean. Everything has to be clean and tidy and wiped off before they begin anew. They've got a lot of clarity, that is for sure. If there was ever a time when they had clarity, this is it. That they are more clear about who they are, what they're doing, where they're going, and how they are going to get there than they ever have before. And I can tell you, it's like in their head, it's a done deal. In their life, it's a knowing thing. And so, let me see. It's like, oh yes, I have written only a few notes because it's really in this feeling, and I don't know, maybe. So there's someone, I don't think she's here, but there's someone who comes on who's come to me personally as a client. So we've met face to face in the flesh. And she messaged me and she said she sees my divine masculine around me, and he's energetically, he is he is really back around me today, yesterday as well, but I've had this big gap, like many of you have, of him not being present. And how it showed up to me was that they took all of their energy, they pushed our energy out, really, even though we had the same energy. They kind of extricated their energy from us and our energy from them. It might not be entirely true, but that's like the metaphor, I guess. And when I tuned into why that was, it was, and you will have heard me say this part of it, it was so that they knew that they were doing it in their own alignment without the influence of the energy of the divine feminine. And they have really felt into who they are now, and they're really starting to gain empowerment. And for whatever reason that they are, well, wherever they are at in that process, it is as though they are rising up into their own alignment as the divine masculine. And so they are coming into their greater balance, and they are really in process of stepping into the amazing beings that we know them to be. And they are in the becoming of that right now. And I believe, they will be coming in the timing of when they are at that point. So they know that they have to come into their own supreme power, their own higher being, knowing who they are, and a greater clarity of what their mission and purpose is in the world. So it's like this whole veil has lifted off them, that maybe we didn't see clearly before, and certainly they didn't, but it is like that. It's like the shroud, the final bit of the shroud is lifted off, and now they can just see. They can see very, very clearly into their future. And so they know it's a long-term, I was going to say engagement, but I don't mean that in terms of rings. I mean connection. And so they've got to get this part right, because it's important to them to be honoring for the people in their lives. And, that's just the beauty of the integrity that we can witness in our divine masculine. Let me see what else is here. Yeah, also they have moved to a new level, to a new elevation. They really are working more with their higher aspects, their higher mind and their higher heart. They're really beautifully in their own heart recognition now. So they are step by step, knowing where to go, what to do, and who they are coming to be with. And they are in this very, I want to say, deep and complicated series of steps to release all that binds them to their old life, but in a way that's very honouring to all of the people who are in their old life. And it's not that they will be casting them aside, but it is that they're really moving into this sense of knowing. And for the divine feminine, what we have to do is, there's a couple of things. It's very simple, and it's not. So we have to totally surrender into the knowing that this is in hand, that they have got it sorted, and we have to hand it over to the divine, and that's the timing. It's in divine timing. The masculine is being clearly guided by higher divine energies, and they are becoming aware of that, and we have to allow them to do it so that they arrive in their fullness. And then, it is likely, Gaia spoke about October being this time for physical union. So it is very likely, I would say, it's probably unlikely in the first 2 weeks, But when we move into the last couple of weeks of October, there'll be another energy shift. And I feel that's in alignment with what Gaia spoke about, is that there will be these physical unions or physical connections. There'll be something that happens in our physical existence where there's a connection, a recognition, an acknowledgement, through some kind of more communication in a three-dimensional way. And so for the divine feminine, that's really our refinement, if you like, is to be deeply in trust that this is in hand. I mean, we know that this is real. And also I want to say to you, remember that we are here creating new relationship templates, and in the coming together to do that we have to undo the old relationship templates. So soak up in the energetic connection, knowing that ultimately anything that's happening in the energetic world will drop into the physical. And so just be very clear in the knowing of that, and trust that the timing is sorted. It's not in your hands. It's not really even in the divine masculine's hands, but the divine is guiding that, is leading that. And the divine masculine is very in attunement to that, I feel. So I'll just see what's here about, if there are any questions, and say hi to people. So hi, Jessica. Oh, Jessica's saying something has changed in the energy. Yes, it really has. It's very palpable, the change. I think for me, what I felt was that it's like its energy arrived with, I want to say, with greater knowing, as though it's not that he's just coming in and going out. It's that his energy arrived at like as though it's a bit like sending your luggage ahead of you. It felt like that. And Larissa is saying energy feels lighter, can feel him so well, and every time I have a smile on my face. I take every step one by one. That's really good advice for the rest of us as well. One step at a time, one moment at a time. And yes, to just love them. Soul knows him so well, yes. And Jessica feels like they've never been this awake. I agree. For some reason, I felt like withdrawing my energy. Yeah, well, I kind of did that as well. I think that was good for me to have that experience, and then to feel this come in again more strongly in the last few days. So you'll be the best judge of your own situation. Hi, Lisette from South America. Jay is struggling with all of it, feeling deep sadness and not feeling positive about the journey at all anymore. So what I want to say to that is that we have been and are still in the midst of releasing a lot, and it's the deepest stuff that we're releasing now. And it's because we've had what I regard as a dimensional shift. We're in higher dimensional frequencies, and so that means that we can find and clear deeper cellular and wounding, and certainly sadness is one of those things. I feel that many of us in the world have been crying and not understanding or knowing why, but we're just releasing the deep grief and sadness that's held deeply in the cells that we can now access because we're in a higher frequency and dimensional space. So I would say just to sit in it and to allow it to move through you and be the witness, be the observer of it. Don't get caught up in it, but feel it through your body. See, notice where the feelings are, where the when you tune in, where are the sensations in your body, and to allow it to move through your body in that way. So where is it? Describe it to yourself, put your hand on where it is that you're feeling it, have a conversation with it, acknowledge, I feel the sadness. Is there anything I need to know about it, or can I just allow it to rise and to sort of bubble up and leave? Because this is the notion of this deep purification that we're going through as the earth and in our human bodies. So I would say not to get caught up about, do you feel positive or do you feel negative? Just be in the space of, well, this is how I am now, and it will change. And it will. You know, it will get lighter, or it will get darker, or it will get higher, or it will get better. And you just be with it, because we are really in these sort of completion processes of, in a way, emancipating our bodies from all of the bindings and infiltrations and inculcations, the mental programming as well. It impacts on our cellular bodies, and that's where a lot of that is held. So a lot of past life releasing right back through the last couple of thousand years. I'm not sure, Jessica, is that a closing off to your above statement, that you will always withdraw your energy? Thank you, Freedom is Home. That's great. Good morning, Phoenix. So I want to say to you that my honest truth is that I believe that these soul connections, they are divinely orchestrated. They are, I believe, absolutely contracted to come together, and I feel that they are at a point now where many of us who have been, maybe there's a new wave of twins awakening. That's certainly sounds and feels like that's true. But for those of us who've been on the journey for a little while, that it's time for these to come together. It is orchestrated by, divine contract, divine covenants, that we do this because there's this impact on ascension for the planet. So it is this idea that when we come together, that the love that is created by these two beings coming together in physical union, and it happens energetically first, that it creates such a wave of love that it ripples out over humanity, and it creates this ascension moment. It has a big input to that, and that is, I believe, and that's what Gaia has shown me, that's why we all came at this time. We came for the celebration of this planetary sort of reclamation, and because we were capable of doing the work around it and of withstanding the pressure and the challenges, I suppose. But we also came for this, to create this ripple of love that affects the planet to the extent that humanity, or affects humanity to the extent that the planet can ascend. And so be in the deep knowing and trust of that in your heart, that this is all part of why you are here. And so it is the most challenging, most difficult, maybe I shouldn't say that. Might not be the most difficult and the most challenging, but it feels like it's a very challenging, and I'm shown and told that only the sort of strongest beings in connection would come and do this. It doesn't make us stronger than anybody else, but it means that these relationship connections are stronger. And what has to happen is we have to come into the absolute higher connection, higher nuances of healing and dealing with that, so that we can come together to create something that's so pure and so filled with love. Okay, Fiona's saying she heard from her DM this morning via email. Still living with his partner of 8 months, but the love for me was felt energetically, and I appreciated the communication. Beautiful. Yeah, so that is part of this acknowledgement that they are coming into, and they will navigate their way, and we will sit in our own beauty and allow them to navigate that how they need to for the highest good of all concerned, knowing that they will find their way, because that is all part of the process. And it can be challenging for us to be so patient and so open, and we need to maintain that, to sit in the love and know that they're doing what they need to do in order to come for us to create these incredible ways of love. Jessica wants to leave her immense love to all the DFs for such beautiful work we've been doing together collectively. Yes, exactly. That is so true. Thank you. Lisa, thank you for your beautiful uplifting messages. So much learning, especially deeper, letting go and trust, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable yet strong. I know, haven't we become these amazing women? Haven't we become these amazing leaders, these amazing healers, these amazing energy workers, these amazing people communicators? Through this process, we've become the incredible beings that we are also. Phoenix says, thank you, Jessica. Much love to you too. The journey is so challenging, especially with no one else to talk to around us. And they won't understand, and worse, think we're mentally off. So true. So true. Lucky to be guided by beautiful souls such as you. Thank you, Fiona. So I feel that we're really on the, on the rolling over cusp of this, and that right now, this week, be very focused on feeling the love and sending the love and holding the love, and be just checking in with self. What else is there here for me to do in preparation? When I attune to my mission, what does that look like? How do I align more with my own purpose? And if you haven't begun on that, then, begin to make some steps towards that, because, this is what we'll do when we come into union with our divine masculines, is that we will proceed to either blend our missions or combine our missions or share our missions, and they will align in some way to be complementary and supportive to one another. And I think there is no denial, as far as I'm concerned. I'll just talk about me for a moment, but I feel I've been awake, I don't know, maybe my whole life, but for a long time. And so for me, this connection didn't awaken me. This connection really allowed me to go into deeper healing, to find some kind of things within that I hadn't dealt with. And now, so when this first started for me, Mother Mary said to me, this will be a relationship worth waiting for, and it will be a love beyond anything that you can possibly imagine. And I thought, it'll be a couple of months. So yeah, I've had to learn patience, like all of us probably, but I really didn't know how much growth I had left to do. And I know I had, so for me, I had to build this whole new way of life in a new place with a new focus. I shifted from my teaching profession, and so I had to find my way with really deprogramming from that, and then to come into this deeper work, this greater connection with my own energy, and to be falling in love with myself. I needed to do that very, very deeply, and in appreciation of my own gifts. And so it's been a really, I feel that I'm a really different woman than what I was when I first met my DM, and that there's been lots of opportunities for me. So, for example, I have changed my languaging around it. So I used to say, well, when he gets here, that will be gentler, that will be easier, that will be less of a burden. And I had to change that to, I'm good here. I can manage all of this. I can make all of this happen on my own. And when he's here, it's going to be amazing. And I'm so grateful that he is finding his way here for that. And so that's my kind of personal story to you, is to really look at who are you, and what are your new ways of being, and what more can you become as you're sitting in the place of your own arrival and their imminent arrival. Anyway, I love it that you come on and we can have these kind of conversations, and that we have these similar experiences. And so that makes it kind of normalizes it for us. It allows us to hold one another as we're going through these tough things. And it's likely that, we don't have too much recollection, even though I work with, energy from the other side and in the Akashic records, that we don't have too much recollection of setting that up on the other side. But I can tell you that even in my life, mostly through my work life, though, that I'm meeting these incredible, beautiful men who I have to only, refer to them as divine masculine. They have these beautiful hearts. They're full of love. They're navigating their way with challenging and complex situations, and really able to hold themselves in magnificence, actually, with holding the love for their DF and managing what else is going on in their life in a way that's very admirable and, full of integrity. And I've been, so I tuned into this a couple of weeks ago, and then I've had these divine masculines turn up for sessions, and so they are confirming that as well, that this is how they're navigating it. This is what has to happen, and I don't know what's going to happen with that, but the love is there, and that's the kind of conversation that they are having with me. Bride on Fire. No, I haven't shared it on my channel, and I won't until I have his permission. So that's what I decided a long time ago, that I will gladly share that, because it's a pretty incredible story, but I won't share that until he's here and he grants his permission. So that was in response to Bride on Fire saying, would love to hear your personal TF journey. Have you shared it on your channel, Life Thrive? Yes, so much growth. Yeah, I feel so much of my mission work would not have been accomplished Oh, yeah. I know. That's exactly the same as me. I realized that. My kind of shamefaced admission is that I became aware that I had to really deeply, even though even though I had this deep relationship with Gaia, I probably would have ditched her if he had been here, even a couple of years ago. And so I know that I had to be so committed to this work with her that I would continue it. And yeah, so I recognise that as well, Alive Thrive. And yeah, we said, yep, love is really all, and it just so is, and we are the role models for that. We're the relationship experts for that. That is our flair, our raison d'etre, and our commitment to humanity. That we are going to reset the templates for how to be in relationship. And so we're undoing the old ones first, and there's a lot of sort of fine threads now. We're if it was a tapestry or a piece of cloth, we've snipped the edges and we've done a lot of the unraveling, and we're on the last parts of that. So yeah, thank you for being my sisters on this journey, and let's hold one another in this magnificent love that we have for ourselves and our DMs. And I will, close. I just feel like I might just speak a little bit of light language to all of you. I'll just tune into that for a moment. Yeah, so I just invite you to take a breath and feel into your own beautiful heart. So really take your attention, your focus into your heart space and feel the magnificence of that. Feel the expansiveness in your own heart space. Ishakana o iati rakana shishiti atoa ishakana iti yarana siti ashna katatatata. Iya ho anara siati anana. Iya ho aho aho. Shi aranai eshi anaranahi. So I know some of that light language, if you were feeling it, it was interesting. It was forming a horizontal line from left to right and then a crossing over line from back to front. So it was a line across your physical heart and then a line of energy movement between the rear aspect and the front aspect of your heart chakra, and then a little bit of a movement around to merge them. And I invite you to, let's do this. So if you're seated, pop your feet on the ground. And I want you to imagine that your divine masculine is seated opposite you. His feet are touching your feet. Your knees are touching and you're holding hands. Feel the electricity of that connection. And gaze into one another's eyes. And take several long, gentle breaths. I'm going to breathe in, long and soft, and out, long and soft. Continue to gaze into their eyes. Second breath. third breath. And just focus on the energetic connection. And now place their hand on your heart, and you place your hand on theirs. Now I want you to imagine that both of you are depixelating, and that you are moving into one another. This energetic merging of the etheric body. Ishatakana o iati ishiti anarakana a o I ahoyarakanashi iyatana I iyashakani ara shikana shikina etya nakanashi shana. Yetiana kanashi shishi oata heya ho heya nara nana he. Okay. All right, so I wish you a beautiful day and a magnificent week exploring yourself and what else needs to arise, to be released, and see that as your work for this week while you are holding that beautiful energy of one another. Oh, Sarah, maybe if you've just arrived, that I believe has been an experience that a lot of us have been having, and I want to say that that's been my experience up until the last few days, and so just allow it a little bit of time. If you go back and watch, I was speaking about how I felt that they've really kind of owned their own stuff. They've wanted to do this on their own, and so they've withdrawn their energy in a very deliberate way. Thank you, Anna. You're welcome. All right. Much love, everyone. Oh, your pets enjoyed that. I know pets really like light language. They're very attuned. Bye.